Hey, yay. Alright, guys. Let's talk about the day. Talk about events. So, from 10 o'clock until now, pretty much, 10 minutes ago, quarter to 4, been in and out of meetings. Technology is amazing. Imagine, I couldn't even imagine, to be fair, 10, 15 years ago, how stupid question, how did they conduct meetings 10, 15 years ago? Like, how did you conduct a meeting with someone across the other side of the country? It was just a phone call or emails. Man, that's crazy. Was there video calls 10, 15 years ago? I don't know, imagine beyond that. Imagine how hard it would have been to do business 10, 15 years ago and beyond. Anyway, very exciting, as I do when I go on about the concepts, the projects, the events. I get very excited and animated, and it's infectious. I can see the recipient of that conversation really getting involved in it as well. It's great, and I'm honestly just so excited about the next 12, 24 months. And I've been getting this quite a lot lately, is like, what's the goal? Like, what's the end goal? And it actually kind of really frustrates me. And the reason it frustrates me is because there isn't an end goal. I'm not in it. I'm not doing this to come to an end. I'm doing this to create opportunities for families to experience things together, to be active, to have fun, to get out of the house, to come together, to just share these incredible experiences that I genuinely believe that I am capable of creating and am creating. And ultimately it puts smiles on people's faces. And anyone that's ran an event of any scale, whether it's 10 people, 20 people, 100 people, thousands of people, will probably say the same. That is, when it's all said and done and you stand back and you look at that project that you've created and you've put together, there's just this sense of achievement that is, I've not experienced anywhere else, doing anything else. And for that reason, when people say to me, what's the end goal? There isn't one. There's always a new event idea, there's always more equipment, there's always something bigger, there's something better, there's a different country, there's a new location, there's a new venue, there's a new partner. Like, there isn't an end. And this year you're really going to see how far I've stretched my mind in terms of events. So what seems like another lifetime, I obviously started off as a football coach, provided football coaching for kids on the Mornington Peninsula, got into some sports inflatables, and then really grew it from there. Now I'm looking at implementing fun runs, music festivals, as well as some other ideas that I'm not going to share just yet, because I haven't exposed those to anybody. But I'm telling you, if you were to see my little notepad with all my ideas, there's just an endless amount of ideas. And what I tend to do is I'll work on an idea. So I'll come up with the idea. It's like, this is the best way to explain it. It's a little seed, okay? And then over time, I add a little bit of water and add another little bit of water, and I watch it flourish. And when it gets to the point of full flourishment, you're ready to take your fruits off of the plant, that's when I know I'm ready to launch that event. And I do it time and time again. There's been events that I've been thinking about, fantasizing about for years. And then when the time is right, and I don't mean in the environment or money or anything like that, when I feel like the time's now to launch the event, that's when I action it and I go and launch the event. So for example, this monster tour. This all just came together in a matter of weeks. To be honest with you, I'm not even going to pretend otherwise. I had a plan and a strategy, and then a few clients came knocking on the door after I sent out an email, said they wanted it for these dates, that day, this location, that location. So I had to change the whole tour. And I just roll with the punches. So that's kind of a bit of an idea on how events can just shuffle and change. But what I'm trying to implement now is a strategic calendar of attractions up and down the country. And in between those attractions is where I'll have the flexibility and where I'll be doing some fun runs. And I'm going to be strategically aligning myself with some key foundations to raise money for some incredible causes, and I'm excited to share that. However, I'm not going to share it just now. So I've had a couple of meetings and conversations with 2 of the 4, and it's not as easy as what you think. I thought it'd be a case of I let them know what I'm doing. I'm taking full risk, full liability. I'm going to give you guys money. All I want in exchange is access to your brand, your logo, in collaboration with da-da-da-da. And then when it comes to merch, I just want to be able to go and get merchandise through my channels and the avenues that I've created over the years. And then I'll put your little brand, tiny little logo, on that product, so that when the event all comes together, it's in collaboration with you. People are investing the money, spending the money, and obviously we give a kickback of profits to that particular organisation. Not that easy. So one of them can only operate in a geographical area, can't operate where I want to operate. Okay, so I've got to look for another platform, another avenue. Another one I spoke to just now, they want to see more of an in-depth proposal and how that event's going to run. And I sort of sat there and thought to myself, look, I'm happy to do it. I've got 101 things to do. Why not add another one, which is 102? And it just sort of delays the process. For me, I'm ready to pull the trigger. I'm ready to set up my calendar, but it's okay. So I'll go ahead and do this proposal now. And quite ironically, the event will go ahead with or without these collaborations from the foundations, because in its simplistic format, I can run an event, raise money, and then donate money. In that instance, the only thing I wouldn't be doing is having their branding present and having access to their database. But I strongly believe over the next 2 to 5 years, I'm going to build a database that's second to none anyway. The amount of exposure my brand's going to have is incredible. The depths and widths of the globe that I'm going to be touching is just huge. The database is going to grow and grow and grow and grow. The engagement is going to keep creeping up higher and higher and higher. And honestly, I'm that delusional that I just genuinely believe I'm going to be one of the biggest event operators in the world. And that probably sounds crazy, but right now I've got enough equipment in Australia to run 3 water parks. You don't know what I'm referring to when I say a water park. Check out inflatablefunpark.com/the UK. It will show you exactly what the water park is. I've also got that equipment in the UK, plus football equipment. Here I've got the world's largest inflatable maze. I've got access to a 300-metre long obstacle course. I'm just about to get access to another 5 full containers of water park equipment. And on top of that, I've got all my sports inflatables, silent disco equipment, battle zone equipment. I've literally got equipment coming out of my sheds, my containers, my storage. Like, it is just crazy. I don't even comprehend how much equipment I've got. And to be brutally honest, since COVID hit, I barely did anything for 2.5 years. I went and got another position as a venue sales manager in a consulting role as a contractor for 6 months. And there was a basic wage with a commission structure. I really actually enjoyed that. Kind of a few things went on which has led to me now not really doing much with the venue, which is a shame. I'm not going to say who it was, but I did really enjoy building the database, networking, bringing in some really big events, some really large contracts, hundreds of thousands of dollars. But it allowed me to create a small database and a small network. I didn't really get the opportunity to work with the clients for long enough to build that rapport, but enough to have an introduction. And then since then, I launched a water park in the UK. Was outside of Australia all last year, and this is really the first time this year that I've been able to sit down and go, you know what, I'm just going to go for it. And I did. I sent out my first ever email marketing campaign in January, and I had such an abundance of a response that I just kept going. My operations manager, Benny, just walked in.
Oh, hi there. Hi
So
there.
might as well get him to come and sit down. We've been trying to do this for, I keep saying days and days. We'll sit down and we'll chat. We'll get him on. He's so charismatic, and we just haven't done it because he's been so busy. I've been so busy, but he's here.
All right, hi everyone.
Round of applause.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah. So, obviously, this is Benny. He jumped on board. 6 weeks ago, maybe.
Yeah, do that.
6 weeks ago. Helping out, supported the start of the tour. Was in the shed for a bit. Started building the mini golf. And it's just sort of spiraled quickly to here in Hobart. We were in Alpine together.
Yeah, it was great.
Gold Coast, and now Tasmania. So you've got 3 different parts of the country. We've travelled, and there's going to be so much more.
Yeah,
So just what I've been doing, just quickly, I've just been chatting, letting people know about the meetings I've had today, what's coming up, the exciting things I've got planned. It's just rolling, so might jump into and ask some questions about how you found it, a bit about your background and how different inflatables are. So from what I know about you, Ben, you've had a bit of experience on the festivals, working behind the bars, doing that kind of thing.
Yeah, correct.
And then you've also done a few bits. You're a kindergarten teacher. You're very creative, very charismatic.
Thank
you. Can do some magic tricks.
That's nice.
Poems. He's very great at poems.
This guy, he's talking me up. I'm thinking, who you're talking about? That's weird.
Loads of talents. And actually, the biggest, if I'm not mistaken, the biggest collection of Jean-Claude Van Damme memorabilia.
That's correct.
Right?
Yes,
so, Dad, if you ever watch this guy's got everything.
Yeah, check it out on YouTube, Van Damme Room Tour. Yeah, there you go, check it out.
So just, mate.
Yeah, well, as you covered pretty much all of it, actually. It sounds good when you actually said it like that. I didn't actually. I was like, oh, yeah, that's me. Yeah, it's weird. So I've been doing the concert circuit, I guess, and started off. I didn't even mean to actually. I sort of, because I was doing the kindergarten teaching, and I went overseas and taught English in Japan. I sort of come back, and then I got the travelling bug, and I sort of went back overseas and come back again, and went back overseas and then come back again. I thought, man, it's a bit disruptive to the kids' routine. And then my friend actually said, hey, well, why don't you do an event with me? And I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? Why not, you know? So then I did, and instead of going in the bar, the person who was running the festival, she goes, you're going to come with me, you're going to be a writer. I'm like, what's a writer? And she goes, you're going to look after all the celebrities and give them what they want and stuff. And I looked after Drake initially, and like Avicii and Prodigy and like all these guys. I'm like, this is awesome. Like, I was just dealing with them, like in Future and 2 Chainz and everything as well. And it was so cool, and I'm like, this is awesome. And then he said, hey Ben, do you want to come run it in Adelaide? I'm like, hell yeah. So I went to Adelaide the next day, and then was in charge of all the stuff up there, like doing the writing. And I was like, this is awesome. I can't. And then the next week, and they go, oh, we're doing Robbie Williams next week. I'm like, hell yeah, I'm down for that. So I'm like, see you later, kindergarten teacher.
Yeah.
I was like in this, I loved it. Yeah. So and then it sort of moved on to like being instead of behind the bar and that kind of sort of stuff, it went on to the operations of it all, and then like setting it all up, and started getting my forklift ticket and other elevation tickets and everything else as well. Just to there's a lot that goes into setting up a festival and stuff. A heck of a lot.
And hopefully over the time we'll do a lot of behind the scenes to show you guys exactly what is involved in some of these major events. When we get the time, it's safe to do so. But as Benny's touched on, there's so much that goes into it. Even this event out here.
Oh,
right?
so much you
People
don't
look at
realise.
it and think it's a couple of inflatables, but there's actually quite a lot. Like the logistics just to get it here.
Been working, buddy. Stop walking around these days, buddy. A hole here, this, there,
and just on the logistics, we drove straight from Gold Coast, Island Waters, straight down to Melbourne, through the night.
Mermaid Waters.
Island Waters is Island Waters is specifically the place, but Merrimack Football Club, and it took us 26 hours, I think, 26.
It was actually quick on the way back for some reason.
It seemed quicker, a couple of stops, probably because you slept most of it, and Shane done all the driving.
No, I didn't. I just don't know.
But even on that, right, there's not many people, and I've been running this business for 10 years, and I've travelled a lot in the 10 years, and there's not an awful lot of people that would sit in a car for 24, 26 hours and do that journey. Like it was a big journey. It's big. It's as big as it'll ever get. Other than flying, pat on the back. Other than flying to the UK, which is I don't know if you've flown that far, but it's 23 and a half hours if you get a good flight. Otherwise, you're looking at 30 hours if you're doing your stopovers in your different flight. It's hectic. But it was a big drive. So then we arrived at the docks, or at the freight company, to be told that we actually had to handle the stuff.
Truck,
So picture this, we've got a big 7.4 metre box truck with all the equipment, and then they want it in their truck, so then we've had to handball it all after we've just drove for 26 hours. We barely had any sleep, we got even so that was frustrating.
And the weather was a bit different to
raining and but anyway, we made it, we got here, and then of course when we got here, we ended up setting up the majority of it.
It just worked out that way.
Unfortunately.
It was just one of those things.
When what was meant to happen is the team on arrival were going to set things up, but it was just taking a little bit of time, and we got to about 8 o'clock, I think, 8:30.
Yeah, let's just do it.
And then we just started smashing it out. So. But we've got it up, we've got it running. So obviously your extensive history in festivals, and now you've got inflatables. There's be a lot of people here that just can't even comprehend what sort of inflatables we've got, but maybe give them a couple of ideas on the differences and some things that have really maybe challenged you or surprised you with the scale of the inflatables, the complexities involved.
Initially, when I first started moving the inflatables, I was thinking, this is ridiculous. Like, it was that heavy, like everything was just heavy. But as you come to sort of, get the experience a little bit of it, and I've done removalists and stuff for a while there as well, and there's a lot to do with that as well. Like, you can balance a big king size mattress in one hand, once you sort of work out how to that balance point and everything as well, and it's very similar to those and stuff. Like when you started moving them all around, it was ridiculous, you know what I mean? And then you just come in and go, just do this, I'm like, how the hell is he doing that, And then a little bit more experience, and you sort of actually, you can gauge where to hold it and where you leverage it from, and you're like, okay, this is getting a bit better. And then you come on to the maze pieces, and they're like 230 plus kilos, and it's just like, oh my God, this is even worse, So now the other pieces feel lighter, so that's good. That's one good thing. But the maze is like, no actual solid walls, so it doesn't fold in on itself properly, and that has its own sort of difficulties when it's not lining up and you're trying to That's getting, I'm getting talked in my ear as well. So it's
Yeah,
okay.
so Benny's running the safety operations out there, so he's got the walkie-talkie on it.
Yeah,
So I've probably just pulled him at the wrong time.
Yeah, that's okay. It's no, we're all good. It's not calling Ben, so that's okay for a change. That's
But yeah, those mazes, because I'll try and drop an image in, but as Benny said, they've got no solid structures really. There's netting all the way through, and there's no floor. So as they drop, because all 6 pieces are different, you've got all excess material everywhere, and then you've got to make sure you fold them right, roll them right, but then remember how you folded and rolled them, because when it comes to unpacking it, if you do it wrong, it gets tangled.
Yeah,
it's very difficult
did learn
to
that
just
when
figure it out.
we were here. I did all the other, I think the 6 there. We did the 5, and we go, we are killing it, guys. I'm like, this purple one's going to be a breeze. That was the one that we got screwed up, and that was a nightmare. It was just, they're stuck on that for, I don't know how long. It felt like a long time. We just kept on twisting it around, and pulling it back over this way and that way, and yeah. So there's definitely
But it's good to see it all being activated indoors. And I think today we've got about 350 registered.
And more tomorrow.
We've probably got walk-ins. Is there more tomorrow?
Yeah, there's actually, well, that's what I come to talk to you about. This is exclusive, guys. It's exclusive and stuff. It's about the sensory hour tomorrow as well.
Oh, I see,
Yeah, so you didn't know either. Okay,
No,
fantastic. Okay, awesome. That's okay. The staff was asking me, so Ben, what's going on with this sensory hour tomorrow? I go, you don't know, do you? I said, no, not really.
So what's happened is, my State Bank Arena, who we're working with, they've obviously introduced a few different sessions that we didn't originally speak about. So one of them must be this sensory
That's
session.
it, yeah. So the lights are dimmed and there's no music, so it's for a lot of kids with disabilities and stuff, to include all them as well.
Nice.
And he wanted to, well, they are basically asking me what the deal was and stuff, being that it is a sensory hour and there is a lot of disabilities and what have you, what the deal is with the ear, like your, and your glasses and things like that, safety wise, because they are going a lot slower and the other thing, so they wanted to know about that. So I was coming to ask you about that. So there you go, exclusive.
So this is exclusive and live from the horses
live.
now.
This
so
is
this is
trouble to go on every day.
Literally. So very difficult. I would probably say. I assume the children would have a carer with them.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think the carer is going to have to take responsibility if the child has any disabilities that affect, or even behavioural issues, I guess, because it'd be quite difficult to get the glasses off them when they might play up. And
that's why it's on the labels, I guess.
As long as the carer is fully aware of the implications of if an incident is to arise. It's only for the hour and it's not too many people. Then obviously we just sort of judge it.
Monitor it.
But is that sensory session running?
I think it's 11 o'clock.
Is it at the same time as a public session?
11 o'clock or something.
So the general public can come in.
I don't know. I think it's just they're shutting it down for just the sensory thing for 1 hour.
Okay.
And then they turn the lights back on and the
so
sound.
then we'll lighten the couple of those things, the jewellery, the glasses, that kind of thing.
The stuff that can come off and then just monitor the other stuff.
But I always try and say it's not for the staff, because the staff aren't trained to deal with kids with disabilities or behavioural issues.
I luckily am actually. So
there you go. So you're going to do all my stuff.
Awesome, can't wait.
But a lot of people, especially some of the younger staff, they'll get intimidated by that, and they'll probably get a little bit scared.
A lot of our staff is younger,
trying to deal with that. So I think if we can just make it clear that it's been implemented by Craig at My State Bank Arena, and maybe we just have another discussion about it at the end of the day or in the morning. Just to reassure people and just double check that, like, you're qualified and trained, but is anybody else here qualified and trained? Because ultimately, if they're not, they probably shouldn't have tried to implement the session.
I did it yesterday actually. There was a young boy with this Down syndrome, and he's quite he was a heavy set sort of young boy, and his carer was an older lady.
I hope he's not watching.
It was heavy set. That's a nice way to put it. Well, he likes his food. That's what can I say. He likes his food. But no, look, he's a lovely kid actually, and his carer she was too old to actually walk him through the course, and she was not strong enough. This kid was heavy, I'm telling you, like, man, I was so struggling as well, give me a bit of leg up here and there, I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ, yeah. Yeah, it was awesome, like seeing his face and stuff and getting through. And, I loved it. And stuff.
I was actually just saying that
so.
one of the reasons I do it is not for anything other than standing back and recognising that I've put all this together, and it just gives me that sense of achievement and watching other people enjoy it with the smiles.
When the kid come and said thank you to all of us as well, individually the staff. I just want to thank you on behalf of my town and everything in the school. Thank you for putting this on. That's my ear again. And that was lovely and stuff. Beautiful little kid. She didn't get prompted to do that by a parent and stuff, but that's brave enough for a kid to come up to individual adults and stuff and say thank you, as well. I'm like, wow, that sort of makes it all worthwhile,
So what we do, I'll actually just conclude here, guys, but this will be a little bit of a taste of what's going to come up. We'll actually have some more time set aside to have these conversations. We'll bounce off each other and talk about the ideas and the things that we've got coming up. But Benny is working at me, so he's going to have to go and do a bit of a check, and I'm sure we're going to have a chat when I turn the camera off about what's going on. The stuff we can't talk about on the camera. But yeah, guys, stay tuned. This is just the start. He's literally jumped on at the start of the tour, so we're going to have multiple tours running. So stay tuned.
See ya. Bye.